You can't be the arrow. He died. So who are you?
You're about to find out. Stop the train.
Oh, you don't know who I am, do you? I'm Damien Darhk.
Damien Darhk from the comics, people don't know quite who he is. He has sort of a mysterious agenda. He's considered almost immortal.
It's a good example of us being inspired by a comic book character and then taking it in a, we hope, is a very new and surprising direction.
I'm the man you're looking for.
He used to be a member of the League of Assassins.
We're always going to have in every season of Arrow someone threatening to hurt the city or destroy the city. This guy's threatening to destroy the world.
What do you want?
A new beginning for the world. Nice glass of Merlot, not necessarily in that order. Just when you think Damien's done, he just gets stronger and stronger and stronger. Bye-bye.
You have to kill this son of a bitch.
I don't know how. Sanity really isn't an issue for him.
You killed tens of thousands of innocent people.
We have 3 minutes to take down 15,000 nukes.
Turns out things are going to get real interesting. Real fast.
As we started to discuss this character for season 4, it became really clear to us that the character in the comic books wasn't going to serve our needs for what Oliver needed to go through this season. And we started to do what we usually do, which is we take the name,
Mr. Darhk.
some of the more superficial traits from the comic books, and then make him very much our own. The comic book character, he's tech-savvy, he's the leader of Hive. Once we cast Neil McDonough, we imbued him with these mystical powers that the Damien character in the comic books just doesn't have.
This. When I was offered to play Damien Darhk, there wasn't a whole lot of history to the character. We would work through different ideas of who he was. We try to make him as much Lex Luthor, Gene Hackman, crazy, fun, not just dark. Bad guy, remember?
One of the nice things about having Neil McDonough is he's so great and charming and funny, so you don't quite see the evil until, as time goes on, you sort of see exactly what his plan is, and you see how really he is so much scarier and so much more evil than you think he is. It's a tough pill to swallow. This is a guy who wants to literally blow up the world, and we sort of like him.
Oh, I feel so much better.
We've had a great time writing him. I think it's been a good example of the best type of collaboration that you can have between writers and actors. Neil brought so much of it, and I think we were smart enough to embrace what he was bringing and offering and run with it.
The writing has been, come on, it's been unbelievable. You know, it's a kid in a candy store for me.
He's just so much fun to write for because he does evil in a way we haven't done on the show before, and it's memorable.
Is that all you got?
Hopefully the audience loves him as much as we do. One of the big reveals was that he has a family. This horrible, horrible man has a wife that he loves, a daughter that he loves, and then he's going to do all these terrible things.
I'm the one who controls, or what do you people call them? The ghosts? For Damien, sometimes he goes over the top with messing with people, and then sometimes he'll just stop and be dead cold, and then the audience like, oh gosh, that's right, he's the bad guy. I want you to give your father a message from me. I want you to tell him, I'm a man of my word.
His threat was, work for me or else I'll kill your daughter, and it's almost a trope to threaten someone's life to do something, but for a guy who's willing to actually go and do it, just shows how dark and how manipulative and evil Damien is.
Hello, Oliver. Nice timing. I think you're going to need much bigger arrows.
Going into this year, we had to sort of say what are our rules as far as magic goes. Like, we wanted to make sure that A plus B equals C. It's not just like magic can solve anything. So one of the basic tenets was that Damien has this mystical totem, and that, you know, he sacrifices death to it, and that death will give him power. He'll get more and more powerful the more people he kills, basically.
But it's part of an ancient religion. Baron Ryder was after it, and it was our sort of attempt to do a version of Indiana Jones on Arrow to explore religion and magic. But we were always intrigued by the idea in our own minds that Darhk at one point visited the island, and that somehow he knew about Ryder and he had crossed paths with him. And the other piece of it for Darhk is that it keeps him alive, it keeps him young.
He's not completely immortal. It's without the totem, he's in a bit of trouble. The other day, my youngest, my son James, he started doing this to me. He's 2 years old. He didn't know what it was, but he's seen people do this to me. I was laughing in hysterics. I thought it was great. But I know for one thing, you know, when the show is over, that totem is coming home to my house, and I'm going to put it on the altar up there.
He ultimately wanted to be the next Ra's al Ghul. We've always envisioned in our minds that he was too evil. He did not have enough balance and justice within himself to be an effective leader for the League, and that was why he was cast out. I think he felt very wronged and has a strong sense of personal justice and a strong desire for revenge. He does decide to start his own organization as a counterbalance to the League of Assassins.
If you basically take a self-made billionaire and he gets kicked out of one company and then starts his own company, well, he wants that company to be the most glowing, show-off, phenomenal place of all time, and that's what he's done.
I'm leading us exactly where we need to be.
The League of Assassins was based in medieval rituals and ancient philosophies and ancient ways of fighting. Damien wanted to take Hive into the modern world. So it's very much based on surveillance, and it's very high tech. If you look at our sets for the Hive headquarters, it's night and day compared to what we saw in Nanda Parbat. And that was a deliberate choice. We wanted him to be somebody who would use technology for his own ends. So he's somebody who wanted to take the League and the ideas of that and bring them into the modern world.
Hive wants this city to die.
Thanks to the algae we engineered from Star City Bay, the air down here is now perfectly breathable.
Nothing can be permitted to stand in the way of Genesis.
Genesis is literally taken from the Bible, which is this idea that there was a massive flood and the world was punished for its sins, and then Noah built the ark and the world was allowed to start over. So I think Darhk started from that place. He's very much in the model of many cult leaders, dictators, figures we've seen in history.
Damien Darhk has given us hope.
Damien loves his family, loves his wife, loves his daughter, and believes that zeroing out the world and starting over is the best thing for them and the best thing for all of his followers.
Every now and then, humanity needs a reset, a do-over.
Damien has abilities and powers that Oliver, even though he's seen magic, he still doesn't really know what to make of Damien.
It is not just magic. It's darkness.
Team Arrow is an amazing team, and they can all do so much to ruin my world, and it's just getting me so mad. By halfway through the season, I'm like, I can't take these people anymore. I have a job to do, you're annoying me, you guys can't kill them, so I have to do this all myself. I was about to have a glass of wine. It's nighttime. Can you just kill them for me? No, okay, here we go, and off I go.
The best part about Oliver is that he's relentless. He will do whatever it takes, even if it means if he has to die, if he has to sacrifice himself, because he knows that he's doing the right thing, and I think Damien respects that.
Damien really actually admires and looks up to Arrow. This is the only adversary I have in the world, true adversary, and he doesn't even have my powers. How does he keep doing it? Well, it's pure goodwill that he has. And Damien, at one time, I'm sure was the same as Oliver, that he was pure goodwill at some point, and something happened to change his life. You know, if we're a different life, these guys would be brothers.
You saved my family. So I'll give you a few weeks to spend with yours. Enjoy your time. What's left of it.
Ultimately, Darhk and Oliver both acknowledge similar rules of engagement. For as much as they are at odds, and obviously they don't see eye to eye on anything, they need each other in a sense. There's the hero and there's the villain, and they kind of keep the world in balance. When Anarchy comes on the scene, he is the opposite of that. He doesn't care. He wants to see the world burn.
He was such a loose cannon, I couldn't have him on my team.
I respect order, Mr. Machen. Discipline, precision. You're sloppy. All you represent is anarchy.
And then you see what Anarchy does by the end of the year, getting back at me. The League didn't have faith in me to do the job, so I started my own chaos. Well, I didn't have faith in Anarchy to do his job. Now he started his own chaos, and his chaos is crazy, absolute nutbag crazy.
Genesis is almost ready. We're much too close to play games.
Do you remember what I promised you?
A new beginning.
And you will have it. Once we've brought this world to its end.
Well, they're Bonnie and Clyde in the very first episode. This is funny. They said, okay, well, you should take your ring off because you're the villain. I'm like, well, what's to say I don't have a family?
We never really envisioned him as a family man. Neil really brought that element into the show. Neil's wife's name is Ruve, and so we actually took the name and made his wife on the show have the same name, and they have this very Lady Macbeth and Macbeth type of relationship.
They basically view themselves as sort of the Adam and Eve that are sort of leading the world in this new place.
How do you find a wife to say, hey, honey, we're going to blow up the world, we're going to start a new one. Awesome, let's go for it. She has to have had the same beliefs growing up that this world isn't so great. I'm going to find a guy who wants to start a new world. Wow. I mean, it's a match made in heaven between these two. He's driving so hard, and he wants to impress her, and she's like, you're doing great. You can do greater. And I think that's what every guy needs from his wife. They are truly a team. A bizarre team, but a team.
Don't worry, darling. I'm dealing with him.
Give Mr. Machin my love, my love.
Ruve's great because she's the person we know is bad, but we can't prove it. We know she's in league with him, but she's leading the polls. We know she's doing these terrible things, but yet somehow the populace loves her. That's what makes her so interesting and frustrating as a member of Team Arrow, where they can be like, why can't the rest of the world just see her the way we do?
Is it a business relationship on one level? Of course it is. But is there love in there? Of course there is.
Darhk took it.
Took what?
Rubicon.
Rubicon is a program developed by Argus, and when they steal that, they're going to use that device to launch all the nuclear weapons in the world. Once you start talking about blowing up the world and nuclear holocaust, the chance to slow things down doesn't happen.
That's it.
Definitely our biggest casualty number to date on the show.
He's not human anymore.
Oh, I'm still human, just better.
We have Damien on one end and Oliver on the other, and Anarchy's just this wild card. He just comes in to mess everything up for everybody.
I'm sorry.
The loss of Ruve at the end of 422 is a huge hit for Damien.
She dies and my new world dies.
It was never by design. We always sort of thought that Darhk and Oliver would sort of cancel each other out and both side against Anarchy. But we hit upon this idea that really the ultimate stakes for Darhk, it is his family. And to take Ruve out of the picture would leave him in such a dark, wounded place, so heartbroken, that he wouldn't care.
There's no place left on Earth that's safe. Let it all burn.
I don't care who lives, I don't care who dies, I just want the world as you know it to be over. This charming, debonair guy we met before is all of a sudden this uncontrollable monster who will stop at nothing just to end everything.
He actually, in a way, becomes a little bit like Anarchy. He doesn't care if the world blows up.
With Dark's anti-nuke bunker destroyed, why is he moving forward with Genesis?
Machin killed his wife.
Well, his daughter still lives in this world. He must know that.
To the point where he doesn't care if his daughter dies.
Hi, Daddy.
Hi, sweetie.
This is a mercy killing on a global scale.
To him, I think it is an act of love, because to leave her to live in this horrible world where someone like the Green Arrow could be in control and have power is unacceptable.
I'm sparing my daughter the pain of growing up without her mother.
And we had a lot of questions about it in the writers' room. We debated back and forth. Would he be willing to take his plan to that place? And we decided that, you know, we'd set out to explore the mind of a villain who didn't have a conscience, who ultimately wasn't the hero of his own story. And this was his agenda. He wanted the world to go up in a giant nuclear explosion.
Just over 15,000 ballistic missiles, and they all just launched.
At the end of the day, he does not care if his daughter is one of the casualties.
Those missiles are finding their targets.
When Oliver's taking a beating from Damien and for the umpteenth time, the city around him is standing up and saying, no, Damien, we're not going to take this. So they're just as invested as stopping Damien as Oliver is. And it makes for, like, the biggest season finale we've ever done on the show.
Rubicon has safeguards. For their safeguards, I can't disarm a warhead.
We love all of our previous villains, but, you know, Damien's special in that he made it a global story, not just about the city. It just makes our show so much bigger and so much more epic.
I'm gonna miss playing Damien Darhk, that's for sure.